Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our second candidate forum that we're having so far. This is the second installment of 5 candidate forums we'll be holding this election cycle. My name is Nicole Oneto. I am the elections officer with ASI. I coordinate the student government elections, which is what we're all here gearing up for. I'm joined by Lisa Dalton, who is our executive and board associate. I'll be moderating and asking the questions. Lisa will be keeping the time. Before I forget and move on to the next thing, this is a leadership initiative event. So if anyone in the audience is here for leadership initiative credit, please make sure you send Lisa a private message in the chat with your first and last name, your SAC link email, and your student ID number, and we'll send that over to the leadership initiative team and make sure you get your credit. So you have pretty much all day to do that, but try to do it as soon as possible so that you don't forget and that you get that credit. Okay, so this is an optional event for candidates to attend. We make these available for candidates to be able to share their platforms, but they are not required to attend. So you'll see we have some candidates here and not others. That is completely okay. We're happy to have who we have. So let's go ahead and introduce the people who are here. This is a forum that features candidates for the Director of Engineering and Computer Science, the Director of Health and Human Services, and the Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. So here today, candidates for Director of Engineering and Computer Science are Mukunda Puvada and Tej Panchal. And for the Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, JD Beltran. So thank you to those that are here. We're excited to hear from you today.
You want to make sure you read all the candidates' names in a row in the order that they are on the ballot.
All right, I will do that now. Thank you, Lisa. So the complete ballot order for those 3 positions is for Engineering and Computer Science, EJ Shin, Mukunda Puvada, Himandeep Kaur, Tej Panchal, and JD Cruz. For Director of Health and Human Services, Chris Campbell. And for Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, JD Beltran and Brandon Fisher. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's talk about the format. How is this going to work today? So, like I said before, I'm the moderator, so I'll be asking the questions and kind of leading us through the order of today's forum. First, everyone will have the opportunity to give us a 2-minute opening statement. You don't have to use the entire 2 minutes, but you have up to 2 minutes to tell us a little bit about yourself. Then we'll move on to a general question that Lisa and I have chosen to ask you all today. You'll have 1 minute to respond to that question for each person. Then there will be a positional question. And again, you'll have 1 minute to respond. And then we will have our closing statements. Everyone will have a chance to talk for 2 minutes. Again, you don't have to use the whole time. And then if time allows, which I think we might be pretty fortunate about that, the audience will have an opportunity to ask some questions. You'll have to specify who you're asking, if you're asking just like for engineering and computer science, or if you're asking all of the candidates that are present today. And the candidates will have 1 minute to respond to those questions as well. Okay, so that was kind of the general overview. Let's jump right on in. We're going to start out in ballot order here with opening statements. So we have Mukunda. You're going to have 2 minutes for your opening statement. Lisa will be keeping the time. Lisa, are you ready? All right, 2 minutes for your opening statement. Your time begins now.
Hello, my fellow Hornets. Good afternoon. My name is Mukunda Puvada. I'm a junior pursuing mechanical engineering. I'm running for the director of ECS position because I believe that out there are so many unheard voices and many issues and ideas that aren't in consideration. I want to change that. I want to hear the voices that did not reach the right destination. To provide assistance and to help others, I must be in a position to do so. My first 2 years at Sac State, I've been making myself familiar with all the resources available in our college. I have also had an opportunity to request a member of the California State Senate to expand the eligibility criteria for federal, state programs and scholarships for Sac State students. I did that as a student. Now I believe I can do much more than requesting if I'm elected as the ECS director. I also have few ideas like initiating a resume building workshops for your major instead of ECS department as whole, and also make different clubs to collaborate with each other. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mukunda, for your opening statement. Next, we're going to move on to Tej. Again, you're going to have 2 minutes for your opening statement. And Lisa's keeping time. Your time will begin now.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I hope you had a very good spring break. My name is Tej Kumar Panchal and I'm a junior year at a Sac State. I want to run for the director of ECS because I think there are lots of opportunity, but some students don't know like how to use them and where to get that. So I will use my position to provide that information to the students, because after spending 3 years at Sac State, I learned like there are some pros and cons, and I want to provide my experience, my knowledge to the students, to the new future students also, so they can learn more about their particular field, their area, and their department. Also, I was in the ACM event coordinator, so I had a much more context about like companies such as Intel, Google, Microsoft. I have some context, so I will try my best to arrange like let's just say workshop, internship fairs, and also some volunteering work. So the engineering and computer science department students will get an opportunity as an intern or a volunteer. Thank you.
Thank you, Tej. Okay. And last but not least, we have JD, who will be giving us her opening statement. JD, you'll have 2 minutes and your time begins now.
Hi, everyone. My name is JD Beltran, and I'm running for Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. I've always been passionate about helping others and being the voice students need. I enjoy interacting with the students at Sacramento State and listening to their experiences and the positive impacts and the positive improvements that can be done. Not only have I been in leadership positions in school, I have always taken pride in previous leadership positions that have been presented to me in both academic and career settings. As a leader, I make sure to go the extra mile and think outside the box to make every opportunity both fun and educational. As we all know, the pandemic has affected us students in different ways. We feel like there's a lack of resources. We don't know where to start, where to go, or where to end. As Director of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, I will take pride in the students and make that change. My goal is to make the students feel comfortable and confident, and I want to be that effective voice for the students that each individual may need. I am confident that I'm the most qualified, positive, and personal candidate for this position.
All right. Thank you. And that concludes the opening statement portion of our forum. I think we're off to a great start so far. So we're going to move into the next section, which is the general question for candidates. Today's question is, what is one common goal you think ASI should have? One common goal you think ASI should have. So everybody's going to have 1 minute each to respond to this question. We're going to go back to Mukunda for the responses here. Mukunda, you'll have 1 minute on the clock and your time will begin now.
Well, one common goal that I think ASI should have would be to act as a bridge between student and university administrations so that the students are more successful in their endeavors. Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to Tej. Again, the question is, what is one common goal you think ASI should have? You'll have 1 minute and your time begins now.
I think ASI should provide a more opportunity, more events, and more workshop for the students so they can grow their networks, which will help them in the future to go into the particularly company.
Okay, thank you, Tej. And JD, one common goal you think ASI should have? 1 minute on the clock. Time begins now.
I think a common goal ASI should have is definitely leadership. I know it's like the main point of ASI, but I feel like as a community and as a group, we definitely need to be coming together and listening to one another and be that change that everyone wants.
All right. Quick answers on that one. So we're gonna move to the next section. So this is the positional question time, and because all of the candidates here today are college directors, they will be asked the same question. Today's question is, if elected, what would your #1 priority relating to the college or relating to your college be? It's worded a little bit weird on the paper. So again, that's if elected, what would your #1 priority related to your college be? And we're going to go back to the beginning with Mukunda. You'll have 1 minute to respond to this question, and your time begins now.
The first thing I would concentrate on would be to add more weight to student evaluations so that the upcoming students do not face similar issues. Over a period of time, students have constantly faced the same issues over and over again, which indicates that the student evaluations could do more. I would also take the students' concerns to the right management. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, again, what is, if elected, what would your #1 priority be relating to your college? We're going to move to Tej. You'll have 1 minute to respond to the question, and your time begins now.
So my first priority after I will become a director of ECS will be, I will ask the previous students what the problem they faced and try to solve those, and the problem that I faced also. The first thing I want to do, the specific thing is I want to solve the enrollment problem, because there are lots of students who face like problem during the enrollment because they didn't get the right professor at the right time, and because of that they had like their schedule gets like apart, and which is not for their future semesters. So my first priority is that, and I want to get like more opportunities for the volunteering, so they get like a practical work experience.
Thank you, Tej. All right, well, let's see how this question relates to natural sciences and mathematics. Let's hear from JD. You have 1 minute on the clock, and your time begins now.
So I believe once my major change is that we definitely have a lack of resources. Coming from the pandemic, I feel like being online is definitely really hard. We have a lack of resources. We don't know where to start, where to go, what services are available to us as a student. I personally came into college in the middle of the pandemic, so I'm kind of just figuring things out as I go through college as we transition into person. So my major change that I want to do as director would be able to provide resources to students in the college and be successful to obtain their degree in being a STEM major, because it's one of the most, I feel like, a very hard major to get involved in. I mean, there's a lot of stress and people don't know where to start or where to end. And I feel like networking is a major thing that I want to provide for students.
Thank you very much, JD. All right, so that concludes our positional question section of the forum. We're moving right along pretty quickly here. It's time for the closing statements already. Can you believe it? So again, just to review, everyone will have up to 2 minutes for their closing statement. You don't have to use all of your time, but you are welcome to run it all the way to the end of the clock there. Lisa will give us a signal and I will call time. So you don't have to worry about like, oh my gosh, am I going too long? I'll let you know. So we're going to go back to the beginning with Mukunda. You'll have 2 minutes and your time begins now.
I'm the president of a club called International Student Life. Being the president of the club, I had a lot of opportunities to collaborate with people from different cultures and backgrounds, and I've successfully hosted multiple events. I'm also an active member of groups like Hornet Racing Club and Liquid Propulsion Group. With my experience, I believe I will be a great representative. The student government works side by side with the student body and the administration to ensure student events throughout the year are successful. I'll put an end to all the homework in the ECS department. Just joking, guys. I really can do that. But I will be your voice with the management and work to make it a memorable year. I will strive to continue to make improvements in the department for each and every student here at Sac State. I'm asking you for your vote for the College of Directors. Should you elect me, I will listen to your concerns. I will listen to your concerns and work hard for you. I will be honored if any one of you chose to vote for me next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mukunda. I love that bit of humor in there. For a second, I was like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? You got me. You got me. I appreciate that. Okay, moving on to Tej. Again, you'll have 2 minutes for your closing statement. We'll let you know if you're running out of time, and your time begins now.
After spending too much time here, like 3 years, it's big for me also. And I get lots of experience with the problem solving, like lots of issues also. Right now, I'm serving as a park tutor, and I'm a tutor of mathematics and a computer science. So there are lots of students who come to me for the tutoring, and I also heard some problem which is not I faced, but they faced it. So I just want to clear that, like, I will help them if I select as a ECS director. I will do my best to serve the students, and that's it. That's what I want to say. Please vote for me, and I will do my best to make your voice and be your voice for the ECS department. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tej. And again, we're coming back to JD. JD, you'll have 2 minutes for your closing statement. Time begins now.
First of all, I'd like to thank ASI for hosting this event for us candidates. If there's anything I want everyone to take away from today, it is, as your future director of natural sciences and mathematics, I'll be committed to listening to each and every one of your voices, and I will address both sides of the issues we as students face and draw my own conclusion to make that change. I have proven ability to be a leader the College of NSM desires, to determine the hardships students may face and develop endless amounts of resources and analyze information, which will be vital for me to succeed as your director. I'm invested in this position because I want to reshape the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Not only will it benefit me as a person, but it will benefit those enrolled in the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. I'm committed to advocating for what is right and what is going to be most beneficial for the students. I'll support everyone in their journey in being the future of America. In the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, we have issues that need to be addressed, whether there's a lack of resources or communication. There's no issue too small for me that I know I will not be able to address and change. As we wrap up today's event, I want to leave you guys with the quote: "To be a leader, you must be able to create positive change." Your vote on April 6th and 7th will make a difference, and your voice matters to me. I'm respectfully asking for your vote and looking forward to serving each and every one of you enrolled in the College of NSM.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your closing statements and for your responses to the previous questions. So that concludes the section where I ask the questions. And now this is one of my favorite parts where I get to open up the floor a little bit. And it's the audience's turn to come up with some questions. So here's how it's going to work. If you are here in the Zoom, you can go ahead and click the Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen, type in your question, and if you can just specify whether it's going to ECS, engineering and computer science candidates, or natural sciences and mathematics candidate, or everyone. So I need to know who I'm asking when I do pose the question. So you can go ahead and drop your questions in there. Or if you're in person in our watch party room, I can see already that our staff members are going around with their iPad and taking questions there. So it looks like they've got that handled so far. So I'm going to give us a couple of minutes for everyone to type in any questions they might have. And I'm excited to see what we come up with. So we're just going to take a second here and let those questions roll in, hopefully. Drink some water, take a breath. We'll be back in a second. Also, please do not answer the questions by typing. I will be posing the questions aloud, and we will be hearing your responses verbally. We're not going to type answers to the questions. I should have been more specific about that. Sorry. Okay, so we've got a couple questions in the Q&A already. I'm hoping maybe some more will come in, but let's get started with what we have. So I'm going to start at the top of what's on my screen, which is a question from Alyssa to all ECS candidates. So this is for Mukunda and Tej. And here's the question. What are your plans to improve student engagement within clubs, ASI, and utilizing resources? So you'll have 1 minute to respond to these questions, or to this question. I'll read it again. What are your plans to improve student engagement within clubs, ASI, and utilizing resources? We're going to start with Mukunda. 1 minute on the clock. Your time begins now.
First way is to spread awareness that there are multiple clubs available in the ECS department. I didn't know there's a club called Liquid Propulsion Group until I searched for it. Like I went to the Sac State webpage and typed in ECS clubs, and that's how I got to know. If I knew this, I would have joined it in the first semester. So yeah, that would be the first step, to spread awareness, and also to make sure that the students know how are they going to get benefited if they join the club. Few clubs like Hornet Racing, there'll be direct hiring when on the race day. Many employers and hirers will be present on the racing day, and they'll just offer employment opportunities like internships and full-time right then on there. So yeah, once the students get to know what's their benefit, like the benefits of joining the club, I'm sure that they all will be interested.
Okay. You really utilized your full minute there, and I kept trying to click unmute and it wasn't going, but we're all right. Okay, so we're gonna move to Tej. I'll repeat the question one more time. What are your plans to improve student engagement within clubs, ASI, and utilizing resources? Tej, you have 1 minute. Your time begins now.
I think in the starting, in the start of the semester, it's a good way to make your contacts with the clubs and all that, because like the first 2 weeks, there are lots of clubs and campaigning on the campus. So you will get that also. You can search online. Let's just say if we talk about the benefit from the ACM, you will get an opportunity to talk with the recruiter, like the managers and all that of the formal companies and your seniors from the previous year or like 2-3 years ago. So to get to know about the clubs, I think you must search it, and also organizing events for the all clubs is a great idea. So that way, all students will know about, like, okay, these are the clubs like the cybersecurity, ACM, IEEE, Data Science Club. So it will help them to increase their technical background and their experience.
Thank you, Tej. Okay. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. All right. So that concludes that question. I'm going to mark that one as done. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question. This is for all college directors, so we'll be hearing from all three candidates who are here today. And the question is, tell us about a specific example where you have advocated on behalf of students on campus during your college career so far. So we're going to start with Mukunda. You'll have 1 minute to respond, and your time begins now.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, I spoke with a member of California State Senate. Her name is Emma Burrows, who is also an ex-Hornet. I requested her to expand the eligibility criteria for CSUS students for programs sponsored by the state, federal, such as Cal Grant APC, and scholarships available. I had this wonderful opportunity when I was a student and when I attended the chess conference this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukunda. Moving on to Tej. Again, the question is to tell us about a specific example where you have advocated on behalf of students on campus during your college career so far. 1 minute on the clock. Your time begins now.
So last semester, I had a problem in the enrolling in the subject. So I directly, I had a meeting with the dean of the computer science department. And when I asked him, what is the problem? Why are the students are facing this problem? And he responded me, because of the pandemic, there are lots of the very few professors and the timing are not that great. So that's why the students are facing that problem. Also, I'm a tutor, so I also represent myself to my manager, Wu, to increase the timing for the tutoring, so the computer science students and the mathematics students will get a more time for the tutoring also. Some students don't know about it's a free tutoring, but it's a great opportunity for you also.
All right, thank you. And we'll be hearing from JD about a specific example where you have advocated on behalf of students on campus during your college career so far. 1 minute on the clock. Time begins now.
So this question's a little difficult for me to answer considering I'm a second year and I was hit with the pandemic pretty hard. So I've been used to being online. So this is actually my first semester where a majority of my classes are in person. So I've struggled being able to advocate for students because I've been, stuck at home with the pandemic. But that's a reason I'm actually running for this position, so I could be the advocate for students they need and be that voice.
Perfect. All right, I will mark that question as done. Before we move on to the next question, I think I might have forgotten to say this at the beginning, so I'm going to say it now. In order to provide a level playing field for everyone who is running for office, no current candidates may ask questions of today's candidates, whether they're on the panel or in the audience. So there is a question in the Q&A that I will not be able to address. Nobody's in trouble. I'll just be skipping over that one. So just for transparency's sake, I'm not avoiding anyone just because I don't like them or anything like that. It's just how the rules go. We want to be fair and square. Okay, moving on to the next question. This is for everybody. And we'll be starting with Mukunda again. Here's the question. Share one example of a project or idea you want to work on should you be elected to the ASI board next year. Mukunda, you'll have 1 minute to respond to the question and your time begins now.
Well, there is actually a program called You Mentoring, and I would like to, make sure I would like to spread awareness about that, because mentorship programs, they are really a wonderful program because, there is a mentor, you get to talk with a community role model. They also suggest you how you should follow in your career paths and all that. They would also recommend any volunteering activities that are available that could be beneficial for you. And even mentors can have mentors. So, I would work on that.
Thank you, Mukunda. Tej, same question. Share one example of a project or idea you want to work on should you be elected to the ASI board. 1 minute on the clock and your time will begin now.
As a computer science student, I had like lots of uh, uh, like a theoretical knowledge, but I don't have like a practical knowledge or technical knowledge about like how to work in the particularly my field. So my first thing will be like to organize events or workshop where the student will learn how to work in a particularly company when they become like after the graduation or they elect as an intern or the full time, and it will help them to increase their technical background and their work skill also.
Okay, thank you very much, Tej. And moving to JD, share with us an example of a project or idea you want to work on should you be elected to the ASI board. 1 minute will begin now.
Okay, so majority of us who are in the College of Natural Science and Mathematics plan to either go into the medical field, veterinary medicine, or something along those lines, working with animals or for humans. And I feel one idea that I want to bring is being able to bring in people who are in those professions and come in and have events where we can talk to them and get ideas of how they made it to where we are. Because being a student who wants to go into the veterinary field, I struggled learning how to apply for vet school, when to start applying for vet school. And I feel like that's an issue students face because we're guided so much for our undergraduate, but a lot of us don't know where to go after our undergraduate, where to start that process when it's okay to apply to those fields. So having those people who are working in those professions coming in to talk to us would be beneficial, because then we can get the real life story of how they did it and the challenges they faced.
Great, thank you, JD. Those are all good answers to this question. I'm going to mark it as complete. Before I move on, Lisa, can you check the message that I just sent you? Okay. Moving on to our next question in the queue here. This is a question from Joseph, and it's for everybody once again. What is a specific issue that your college is facing, and how would you address it? So moving back to Mukunda, how can you relate this question to your college, engineering and computer science? 1 minute on the clock. Time begins now.
Yes, I believe that enrollment is one big issue. So for civil engineers, I know that there's a course called soil mechanics where many people struggle to get into, and there are many courses in computer science and few in electrical engineering too. So my idea would be maybe from now on, like at this time, maybe to send a form for every student in the ECS department to fill out, like what are the courses that you want to get into next semester or something like that, so that we can have an overall idea of how many students are attending, how many classes and who all. In that way, we have like 2 to 3 months of time and we can start hiring enough faculty for the next semester. And that way the students can have enough classes to get into.
Thank you very much, Mukunda. Moving on to Tej, who will also be speaking on engineering and computer science. Tell us about a specific issue your college is facing and how you would address it. 1 minute on the clock. Time begins now.
I think for particularly my college, faculty is the main issue right now. Like the lots of faculty left because of the COVID and other problems. So my first step will be organizing meeting with the director and the chair of the department of ECS and tell them what like this is the situation and students are facing these problems. Also, I want to make sure that student will inform before a semester ago like these are the classes will be taken next semester, so they can organize their schedule, which will help them for the next semester also. Because I just know that next semester there is few subjects which is not taken, so it's not good for the students, and it's bad for them for their future, like the whole schedule.
Okay, thank you. And moving to JD, who will be talking to us about natural sciences and mathematics. What is a specific issue that your college is facing, and how would you address it? 1 minute will begin right now.
I feel an issue my college is facing is definitely the lack of student involvement. I feel there's not a lot of students involved in some of the events, and I think that would be a major change because unfortunately, as a society, we usually tend to follow what our friends do. And I want to break away from that and let people know that you need to be your own individual person and that it's okay to be involved on campus because it's going to help you build as a person with your speaking skills and overall as a person when it comes into working with others. So I definitely want to break that shell of it's okay to be involved in college and definitely get more students enrolled in clubs and maybe start new clubs that other people want to bring onto campus for like medical, veterinary, anything along those lines.
All right, thank you, JD. I'm going to mark that one as done. Lisa, should I ask the last one and then pivot, or okay? Perfect. So we have one more question here in the Q&A, and then we're going to do something that's going to be a little bit interesting, but we'll get there in a second. This question is for all directors. And the question is, have you failed an exam during your time at Sacramento State? If so, how did you feel about your results, and what changes did you make to ensure your future success? We're going to go back to our beginning of the sequence there and go back to Mukunda. 1 minute will be on the clock for you, and the time begins now.
Oh, this may sound funny, but I haven't failed even a single exam. This is my 5th semester, and I've completed 4 semesters in Sac State. And out of the 4, I'm in the Dean's honor list for 3 semesters. The only semester I'm not was last year spring, because I took 6 courses thinking that I can pull it off, but I couldn't. And I just couldn't complete one project in a subject, that's English. And that just dropped my grade. And how did I deal with that? So first thing was there was time management workshop that was available for students. I've attended that, and I've spoken with multiple people who helped me in English language, like how to deal with this. I mean, how to answer these kind of questions and all that. And yeah, that's how I completed that semester.
All right, thank you for sharing. We're going to move on to Tej. Same question. Have you ever failed an exam? And how did you feel about your results? What did you change to ensure your future success? 1 minute on the clock, beginning right now.
So I didn't fail any exam, but I get a C on my first semester in the biology. And after that semester, I learned that I didn't have to take the biology particular subjects, and because of my the enrollment, and it was the first semester, so I didn't know about what subject do I have to take, and because of lack of the knowledge about subjects, I took the biology and I get a C. But after that, I prepared myself. I took the tutoring also, and next semester I got in A's in my all subjects. And after that, I'm in the Dean's honor list for 5 semesters. This is my 6th semester right now. So I didn't fail, but if you fail, don't upset. It's happened. Just took the tutoring. Just try to focus on yourself. Practice more.
That is time. Thank you, Tej. No, you're good. It happens. Especially when you don't have the time right in front of you. I just have to watch Lisa and wait for the signal. Okay, moving to JD, have you ever failed an exam? How did you feel about your results? And how did you ensure future success? 1 minute on the clock. Time begins now.
So I definitely have failed some exams here and there. It's definitely the world's worst feeling, especially when you put in the time to study and do all the work. But as a student, I feel that I learn better if I learn from my mistakes. And that's one thing I do struggle as a person is I don't accept failure well. But once I started to learn that failure is necessary in life, like it's unfortunate, but it's necessary in life. And in order to succeed, you have to fail. And you can look at studies and stuff like Steve Jobs, all those people, like some of them are college dropouts, but they've done a lot. I definitely picked myself up. I sat on the pity pot for a little bit like anyone would do. And then I picked myself up and learned that I can't change myself as a person if I don't learn from my mistakes.
Okay, thank you very much, JD. Give me 1 second. Lisa, please check your messages. Okay. All right. So I'm going to mark that question as done. There are no more questions in the Q&A, but we're going to do something a little bit different here. We've been joined by Chris Campbell, who is the candidate for the Director of Health and Human Services. And since he wasn't here for the beginning portion where we did the opening statement and the questions and closing statement, we're going to give him the opportunity to do that now. So welcome, Chris. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your participation. So let me get my papers in order. Okay. So just like we did in the beginning of the forum.
He'll want to unmute himself.
Right. But I have to ask the question. I have to say it first. Lisa, you're muted again.
Just so that he knows.
Okay, yes. And Chris, I saw you had your camera on a second ago, but if you could turn it back on for the forum, that'd be great. Okay. So Chris will have the opportunity to give a 2-minute opening statement, just like everybody else did. Okay, he's back. Perfect. So Chris, did you hear that 2 minutes for the opening statement? You're muted. You're still muted. Chris. There we go.
Hope everyone's had a good spring break. I'm sorry for intruding. I just wanted to come by to kind of give a statement and then hopefully answer any questions if anybody had them.
Yes.
I've had some technical difficulty issues, and then also thought I could attend the event in person.
All right.
But one of the main reasons why I want to run first.
Wait, hold on. We got to do some official timekeeping here. So Lisa will be keeping the time, and so we're just going to go ahead and get started with your opening statement. 2 minutes will be on the clock, and your time begins now.
Like I said, my name is Chris Campbell, and I'm running for the director of the College of Health and Human Services. And one of the reasons why I would like to run for this position is because I feel strongly about advocating for Sac State to make it a better place. And I also feel strongly about playing an active role in the community. I think health is a really important thing to our community, and anything I can do to advocate to improve the health of our campus and our students is really important to me.
All right, thank you, Chris, for your opening statement. Lisa, in your chat, you only said one question. Do you want both? Okay, cool. So we're going to move to the general question that I asked the other candidates previously. And so we're going to be asking Chris. Today's question was, what is one common goal you think ASI should have? Chris, you'll have 1 minute to respond to that question, and your time begins right now.
One common goal I think ASI should have is to improve the health on campus, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. I think a lot of students are feeling isolated. I think depression and loneliness is something that affects a lot of different people. And anything we could do to improve the social well-being on our campus is going to help combat these issues.
All right, thank you. Now moving on to the positional question. This is a question that is for college directors, but Chris will be responding for us right now. The question was, if elected, what would be your #1 priority relating to your college? 1 minute will be on the clock. Time begins right now.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that I feel strongly I feel that can be improved in my college in particular. There's this class I'm a part of now. There's a CRJ 199 class where we're going through and looking at some of the syllabuses and course structure of classes that are taught within the College of Health and Human Services to make the classes more equitable, diverse, and inclusive.
Great, thank you. And now, Chris, you'll have the opportunity to give a closing statement, excuse me. You'll have up to 2 minutes for your closing statement. You don't have to use all the time, but you are welcome to. We'll let you know when your 2 minutes is up and your time begins now.
I just want to start off by thanking everyone for being here and taking part in these elections. Having a free and open election on campus is really an important part of our campus and our community, and making the college a better place and making sure everybody feels advocated for. And I'm also happy to participate in this. And anything I can do to advocate for students is what I want to bring to ASI.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you everybody for your patience as we have pivoted. Thank you, Chris, for joining us. We appreciate having you here. If there aren't any other questions that are going to come into the Q&A, then we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Like I kind of mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth right now. These forums are a lot of fun. I don't know, I think they're fun for me, but we don't just do them just for the fun of it. We do them to get ready for our student government elections that happen every spring semester. If you're not already aware, those are happening like next week. April 6th and 7th are the official voting days. The ballot will be available online. It'll open up at 8 a.m. on April 6th and will be open continuously until 7:30 p.m. on April 7th. So if you're awake in the middle of the night during that period and you haven't voted yet, go ahead and vote right then. So this was a chance for us to get to know our candidates that have been present today. But for more information on these candidates and the other candidates that weren't here or are part of they're candidates for different positions, go ahead and check out our website, asi.csus.edu. You can read all of their candidate statements there. And if you ever have any questions about elections, feel free to contact me or Lisa. We'd be happy to help you. That's it. Go ahead and vote April 6th and 7th and stingers up. Thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Have a good day.